Hello everyone and welcome back to another 1v1 in planetary annihilation with Judicator of Genocide. I will be playing Mot9001, a pretty strong economic player. Currently I'm ranked number 6th in the Gentleman's Ladder. Klops should probably be ahead of me. A lot of his matches have been versus the top tier players, and I believe he's a shade better than me, even though in that previous game you saw I was able to take a match from him. So the gameplay that you see here shortly is not the highest level of planetary annihilation play, but it's pretty good nonetheless. So we do have a spectator that was watching us play this game. So let's go ahead and get this match underway. Mod's opening up with an energy. Got a suicide from our spectator. We're spawned relatively far away. This is going to lead itself into a nice macro game here. I go ahead and build that first metal first, and then energy, and then into these 3 metals. That's pretty much stolen straight from Colin, Gotti, and Gunshin and all those players. They've found the most economic, non-wasteful way to open up with your first 4 structures. As you can see, Mot looks like he's doing the same thing, except he threw that energy down first. I think this energy should come second, and it'll balance out your... let this metal climb higher. See how I'm going into my unit producing structure? My metal's not peaked yet, which means his metal's a little bit lower. And my energy's still high, even though I built this second. So Mot's also opening up with a bot factory. That would be nice if I could see his shift cues, but I can't. So I'm starting energy after my bot factory, starting fabricator production. This first fabricator is going to come assist my commander to crank out some energy. Mot's also cranking out energy with his commander, so pretty much mirror builds at this point. My fabricator sits idle. I thought I clicked assist, but I must have missed the commander here. Not very good micro on my part. Trying to get my shift cues set up. Going out for metal. And I finally noticed that he hasn't been assisting, and sent him over to assist. Mot is starting a energy storage after 3 metals, or 3 energies producing structures. Then he's going into having a fabricator assist his fabricators to come out quicker, and he's sending those guys to metal. So here's where the builds start to diversify a little bit. I'm going into more energy. So he's got, 4. Here's a fifth worker out right now. And my 5th worker's just barely halfway done, so his build's a little bit more streamlined to get out these workers a little quicker, which is always good if you're going for an economical play. I'm going ahead and dropping a second bot factory now to help with some fabricators. He still has this fabricator assisting. After 4, he brings back another fabricator to assist his commander. So the quicker you can get that income going when you're this far apart, if you're not going to try to go for an early harassment style play, the better. And it looks like he's, squeezing out economic lead here. He's got 7 workers now. Am I catching up with this second factory? I'm building some anti-air. So I got 5, 6, 7. So I've tied him on the worker count now with that extra factory, and I'm able to squeeze out. As you can see, my energy is low, so I won't be able to build with him. So I go ahead and squeeze in some anti-air. So whether it's a scout that comes and scouts my base or bombers that come try to harass, I'm a little safer from that. It's still going to take some micro to get the workers out of the way of the bombs. And Mot is, right now, if he were to be hit with, he's got the counter to the bombers coming up right now, but if he were to get hit with bombers right now, I think it would do some damage to his opening. I've got the anti-air going over to my workers. You can, after some more energy and some energy storage, looks like I'm throwing down an air factory now, so he's got me beat on the air factory. Got some, I can't see his economy. If I could see his economy, I could tell you if these were okay to be idle or not okay to be idle. But if he's positive, these guys should be going to work. If he's negative, it's okay for them to sit there idle for a little bit. More energy with the commander. Doubling it up like this makes it so your commander has to walk less, which means the buildings come up faster, which means your build is more streamlined. He threw up a radar, so you can have advance warning if someone's coming in on this flank here. And instead of radar, I threw up a turret, because I think it provides a little more stability versus harassment. Yeah, that radar will let you know it's coming, but it's not gonna protect it if something were to come right now. He'd know about it, but what would he do with not a lot of units, fighting units on the field right now? Looks like he's going into bot factories, continuing to expand in both directions from his base. Looks like I have 6 workers building unit producing structures, and he's on 4, but that means he has more workers going out for expansion. And then after the 6, I go ahead and start throwing down workers to go lay expansions. I'm trying to sneak in an early T2 this game. Haven't really tried that much before. Just way early T2, seeing if I can get away with it. It's going to leave me a little bit more vulnerable, as you can see. His T1 unit producing structures. Oh, looks like I'm edging him out in the T1 also with the 6 workers going. Economy's just barely staying up there. Continuing to expand just aggressively. Got scouts starting to go on perimeter around my base. Stupid commander gets stuck over here. I think after this, a couple of these next energies. Sending some guys to go help the commander build energy when that energy starts to get low. So continuing to expand. These guys aren't idle, that's good. I think this set of workers could have come over here and started getting these. They're going way out there, laying down radar. I guess he wants to know if I'm coming that way. This is costing him money, and he's already building fighters. So instead of just having the fighters sit here, I would try to get forewarning with your fighters. He's coming in to scout with them. But I'm able to streamline a little bit. I'm just scouting with 1 and watching the edges of my base with the fighters. where Mot is watching the edges of his base with radar, and the radar will help you in the later stages of the game when you have levelers and shellers and pelters and stuff that can shoot farther than they can see. That's a definite give and take relationship there. Those radars will already be up. So I had come forward and scouted him with a plane, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm pulling these workers back because there's no point in advancing into his base with workers. Look over on Mot's side, he's throwing up some defenses at his 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and start a couple of defenses in between our bases here. He's getting some high maneuverability with these bots. He's just got to find a nice opening to attack from. That would be a good strike path right there. This metal and this metal are kind of safe with these turrets. Going out for more expansions with these workers. Trying to get that tier 2 up. Tier 2 worker. Look at this commander sitting idle here, got stuck. But he's still got shift queues. He needs to keep working. It's kind of annoying. Send this guy out for advanced energy. So now that I know where he is, I pluck off workers or planes one by one, and I'm going to start scouting the perimeters of his base here to see if he's going to try to come around and flank me. I need to send another, and I don't do it till later in the game. I'm scouting back here, I guess, but I need to send one like right here so I can have forewarning if he's going to come around the back side of the planet and try to backstab. Mixing in levelers and shellers. Shellers are good tank cleanup, and the levelers are good versus bots. So I'm not going to go all shellers because I see these bots. I saw these bots with one of my scout planes. These planes are sitting here kind of idle. They could be guarding the perimeters of his base. Looks like he notices my plane with his radar and comes and shoots it down. So now I don't have any heads up if he's coming out this way. So it'll take 2 shots from the anti-air to kill a plane, it looks like. One didn't do it. So he's getting a full scout off on my base. Mixing in energy with these metals to try to stay positive. This is really going to bankrupt me going into this tier 2 metal here. But after it gets up, or tier 2 energy, excuse me, but after it gets up it'll really help. Maybe a better player could cancel some production and stay positive, but I really didn't have the APM for that. I'm trying to move out. Start pushing. Continuing to build. Defenses at a 6. Got these metal just way out here and skipped all this. Maybe he wants to take this for tier 2 and he's trying to save it. When future patches come out and you're able to build tier 2 over tier 1, that won't be necessary. But for now it's a pretty good strategy. You know, take out your farther lying metals as tier 1, that way you can save the inner stuff for your tier 2. Now I'm going into tier 2, but it's on the outskirts, the perimeters of my base, and right here's more vulnerable than in here would be, right? So bots coming in, destroying the metal. The metal's providing some good intel for me. I'm able to see this bot army come in, so I'm shifting the army to try to intercept it. Got a scout over here to see if he continues his advancement, but it looks like he's backing up, and I'm thinking that I missed the, maybe the scout flew this way and he ran by and I didn't see it, so I'm sending more fighters. You'll hear me call them scouts a lot. You should always be using them to scout. I'm sending in more fighters to try to find this army. Where did it go? Trying to sneak in some unit producing structures at his 6 o'clock to send in units to his flank. But he notices it with, I don't know if this radar can see it, but these fighters sure can. So with these fighters he's able to notice me trying to build unit producing structures at his 6 o'clock, and he's able to send a force out there. He's throwing up pelters at his front to keep at bay my assault force. I'm starting to throw pelters in between us so I have something to fall back to in case my attack goes sour. So he comes up with a bunch of bots and is able to just completely foil my plans at backstabbing him. The high maneuverability of the bots is going to prevent tactics like this with good scouting by the fighters. He kind of got lucky just having them stop there, but if he was running patrol patterns with him, he definitely would have noticed. So now I'm slowly edging out further away from my base, scouting. So I notice the factory's getting taken out, so that's cueing me to shift my armies, shift part of my armies. Oh, poor leveler just runs out and gets killed. Dummy. User error, huh? Bad rally point. So he's coming in with a large bot force attacking the 6. These workers over here have gone idle. They should definitely be continuing to expand out here or taking these metal that's in between him. The pelters are able to provide some good defense from any forward assault. I'm rerouting the army back to my 6 o'clock to try to prevent the bots from coming in. And I'm thinking that, you know, the ants could take them until I realize just how big this force is, and it forces me to run with my commander. But when these ants and levelers and shellers start congregating, I'll be able to beat back the attack. But it has me worried. If he just ran a straight beeline in for that commander, I'd be in trouble. So as he's taking out just a bunch of tanks, just right up the gut, I start running the commander back, getting kind of scared, bringing the workers in to try to repair the commander. But instead of going after the commander, he just curves into all these levelers. And that kind of ruins his backstab. I think he had an opportunity to win the game there if he would have ran in for that commander snipe. So that gives me the cue to go ahead and try to push in his front. Unfortunate, my levelers and shellers get stuck behind these pelters, and I should be falling back here into these pelter range. Instead, I'm just running headlong into his pelter range, losing more of this army than I should. The pelters are both hitting the armies, and the armies are colliding. And he gets his tier 3 turret up. Oh, just starts another tier 3 turret. Look at these pelters doing work on these units. So I go ahead and say, well, that attack's not going to work, and start falling back. Meanwhile, I've been able to start a nuke while continuing to try to build T2. I've kind of slacked off in the T1. I need to look at this energy and metal. This is bad juju. I need to be spending this money. A couple of survivors from the assault. Now I'm building a ring of turrets on my commander. I was kind of worried that he was going to try to snipe me. Bunch of idle workers right here. These need to be building factories. Went ahead and built a turret ring around this tier 2 metal. I don't want my T2 metal It's all vulnerable out here on the outskirts. I should continue to build metal. Looks like I just missed the nuke. I'm sorry, guys. So here comes the nuke. Trying to take out some production and some energy, so I'm kind of aiming in the middle. With that nuke, that's a tide changer in the game right there. Able to take out just a bunch of energy and a bunch of unit producing structures. 8, 12, 15, or 14, 17, 17, 18, 19. So he has 19 tier 1 structures, right? And I have... So before that nuke landed, he had 19 tier 1 structures and I only had 11. So that definitely swung the course of this game. He was working on his 5th tier 2 and I was up to 5. So we're pretty even on the tier 2 front, and on the tier 1 front he definitely had me beat, but that nuke just totally changed the course of the game. So now his energy's tanked. Yeah, mine's going down, but his is just in the crapper. I'm still trying to work on that T2 energy. Keep cranking out that tier 2 energy. Trying to get that tier 2 metal up eventually. So he's coming around with a force to try to flank me, but my flank is pretty well defended at the moment. I'm starting to build tier 2 factories just right in his face so I can get tier 2 reinforcements quickly behind these army and the pelters. Continuously trying to build nukes. There it is. There goes another nuke. Able to build them pretty quick, and you see the energy in the middle just skyrocket since all those fabrication vehicles aren't assisting the nukes. So now I'm aiming for tier 2 stuff. I want to take out the tier 2 unit producing structures and the tier 2 energy just to cripple his economy. And stand back and try to catch the armies as they're coming in. So some anti-nukes could have saved his butt, and some scouting and sniping the nuke facility with those bots, or just sniping that commander easily could have won him the game. So now it's just kind of a cat and mouse game from here on out. But that was a pretty good game up until the point where I was able to sneak in a nuke just with a bunch of workers assisting like this. This gets these nukes up pretty quick. So in the early game he had more bot fabrication vehicles than I did, so he had me beat there. In the mid game he had more T1 unit producing structures, and he was tied in T2 unit producing structures, but he didn't scout the fact that I had a nuke, and he didn't preemptively build any anti-nukes, and he didn't get a nuke himself. As you can see, I'm just completely vulnerable to a nuke. I need to throw down a anti-nuke in any builds that I use, or else this is a highly probable chance of happening to me in the future. As you can see, continuously got these scouts. Now I got the scout back in the 6 o'clock. I finally remembered to do that. Go ahead and assaulting the flank with the army, bringing out the army to meet his advancement. With the turrets and the superior army, I'm able to clean up the push. And the reason that this army is so small is because those nukes landed. Really, that army would have been a whole lot bigger if that nuke didn't take out all his incoming unit producing structures. He's trying to just speed build T2 to get back into it, but I've been able to make Army 2 long with my superior income and superior unit producing structure count now that these have been nuked into the ground. So he's trying to get the commander out of there. Got T2 bots, some defenses trying to make a stand, but it's kind of futile. At this point, go ahead and launching another nuke at him. So, if you're gonna go nukes, I suggest, and I didn't do it, flying fighters through here and scouting for anti-nukes, and just trying to drop those nukes where they don't have anti-nukes. Basically. Go ahead and taking out his tier 2 unit producing structures, that way my tier 2 is able to just clean house without much worries. He's trying to get the commander out of there, putting up what resistance he can. I wish shellers could keep up with levelers. Move just a little bit faster. But they don't. So he's trying to run the commander away, and I'm trying to bring forward the army. Chase him down. Landed another nuke over there. And launching a final nuke. Not a final nuke. Thought that one ended the game. Guess not. His commander's on the run. Trying to throw up some defenses to get the scouts away from him, or the fighters. Excuse me. And he's able to shoot down some of the fighters, but I'd take it out with the army. Continuing to hunt the commander down. He's trying to run for his life. I got one scout just flying over his head here, keeping an eye on him. Army in hot pursuit. I believe I'm coming in from the other direction too. Trying to get him sandwiched in. He's trying to speed produce unit producing structures. Army's coming in the background, and here comes the final nuke. Good game, well played, Mot. Some anti-nukes really would have saved your day there, I believe. Or just some scouting and sniping the nukes. That game was closer than it appeared to be. Pretty much the tide-turning aspect of that game was that first nuke landing. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back and see us. We will continue to try to adapt our strategies, adapt our play, get better. Yes, we're not the very top, but mimicking the strategies we're doing and the builds we're using will definitely help you beat more people on the ladder than what you'll lose to. Thanks for watching. Come back and check us out. We are Icon Gaming, and we submit our matches to pamatches.com, and you can check them out on McElDowney